Hello, everybody. It's Wednesday. As always, we'll give the rest of the crowd here. We did kick things off to go live a minute early, so we'll let the rest of the group slowly make their way in. See lots joining now. We've got a good one for you here today. Don't know if everybody saw the automated email with the topic, but that's something that we're going to try and have going on and going forward is just a quick reminder day before, here's kind of the topic, here's what we're looking to cover, so that way you can kind of plan your day accordingly. So we've got a good one here for you today. Again, everything around how to use the Reputation Premium tool, tying that into automations and AI for some really cool pieces. So it's going to be a good one here today, but we'll just give everybody a couple minutes. And hopefully, I know last time there was a lot of background noise. I think we've got that fixed now. It was a user error. We can blame the salesperson right here. So I think we've got that under control. And as you may have guessed, who helped me? The one and only Alistair. So he's not just helping you guys. Trust me, he's helping us here internally too. Do my best. And if this is your first time attending one of these workflow series, definitely write in the chat that this is your first one here. Where you're calling in from today. I see a few familiar faces already just from some of the previous sessions. So always like to know where everyone's coming from. And then quick update, because I know lots of people have been asking around the previous session. So we've got a few meetings this week just to get everything SEO friendly to get uploaded to YouTube with those video clips. So should have that all live on the Nasty YouTube page very shortly this week here. And we'll be sure to include that in the next email that we're sending just as a heads up for next week's session where you'll be able to access that. So stay tuned there. Oh, we got somebody, a fellow Saskatoonian. I love to see that. Sorry that you're stuck here with us. I hear in a couple weeks it might actually might not be winter anymore. So we'll keep our fingers and toes crossed together there. All right, we'll do one more minute, and then at 11:03, we'll go ahead, kick things off, and go live. And anybody who's unable to attend the session, too bad. No, I'm kidding. We'll be getting these going and uploaded on YouTube just in case anybody is jumping in partway through here. Oh, Michael, you're smart. Moving south this fall. Oh, in Kansas City, let's go Chiefs. My kind of man, Rob. All right, guys, with that, let's go ahead here. As always, you've got myself, you've got Alistair. Logan's been doing the conference circuit, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to join us here today, but all about mastering Vendasta automations and AI using the different tools that we have. And speak of the devil, I think Logan's joining us right now. So you've got us three, as always. I'll just kind of be hosting things, really pumping up Alistair's tires as he gets to show us the real magic of the capabilities. And then Logan will be jumping in, as always, helping us answer some of those questions and then bringing some good use cases to life. So for today, just in case anybody didn't see the email reminder yesterday, we're going to be covering the power of automations, AI, and how this all ties together with Reputation Premium. So I know a lot of you folks had already been selling Reputation, as that's basically your digital currency, right? Those reviews for a business. And so we know there's been so many updates, so many changes on Vendasta's side, where we thought it would be good to have a full session dedicated towards this product and everything that you're able to build out from it. So specifically what we're going to cover is, and hopefully everybody knows that now with Reputation Premium, you do an NPS request, you can create a workflow if somebody is a promoter versus a detractor, so you can still get that good customer information. without necessarily having to do everything manual. So that's going to be one of the first things that we'll quickly show there. And then how you can actually set up a number of these customized customer journeys based on the actual customer engagement and the data that they're giving back to you. So it's going to be a good one here. Brief on my side for once. So as always, throw your questions in the chat or into the Q&A. We'll try and answer as many of those as we can when we're live. But I'm going to do what I always say I do every week and then never do. I'm going to be quiet. We'll pass it over to Alistair and let him kind of set the stage and walk us through. Stop sharing as well.
Thanks so much, Dakota. So let's jump right in. Now, this might be sort of revision for some of you folks, as these aren't brand spanking new features that we're diving into, but I feel like it's definitely valuable. So I thought we'd maybe take a bit of time to jump in, and also just showing how we can kind of tie these different pieces together and into some of the things that we've shown before would be quite valuable as well. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let's jump right in. All right. So just going to hop into our reputation management premium product to kick things off, just to kind of quickly sort of recap some of the awesome functionality that we have in there. And it would help if I was sharing the correct tab. There we go. Rookie mistake. This is our reputation management premium product that we know and love. And today we're going to be really focusing on the NPS and review request functionality that we have in here. Just as at the surface level, sort of out of the box, it's great, but we can make it even better with some automations as well. So I'm just going to jump into the NPS tab. And in here, this would show us kind of a summary of all of our customers that have left NPS scores. So just to kind of give us an idea of what this looks like, I'm just going to switch to a different account here. And just set up a date range. There we go. So we can have an idea of who our promoters are, who our passives are, and who our detractors are. And now NPS, of course, is kind of like an industry recognized standard, with 9s and 10s being sort of regarded as promoters, 7s and 8s as passives, and then everything 6 and below as a detractor. Now everyone kind of has their own interpretation of, you know, what a score out of 10 means. Like, you know, say at the car dealership after you get your car serviced, they send you that survey, and they might tell you that, hey, you know, anything less than 5 out of 5 is a fail, kind of thing. I mean, they're not supposed to say that, but that's kind of how that industry looks at it. So there's lots of different ways to sort of approach this concept, but in terms of net promoter score and in the software industry, that, you know, that 9, you know, that score out of 10, and then, you know, these definitions are pretty much the standard there.
And Alistair, just as you're going through that, for everybody else, I just put a quick poll in the chat to see who is all using NPS today. If this is maybe something new to you, just drop that in the chat. But would love to see just how many people are using this feature today, so we can kind of set our baselines here.
Rick.
Awesome. All right. So just going to jump back to our other demo account here to kind of take us through a few things that we can utilize in the automation side, just to kind of streamline this, because I feel like most of us at least have an idea of how we can utilize reputation management premium, send out review requests either individually or in bulk, but we can also actually automate that, and there's a few different ways we can do that. So just jump into our other account here, just so we kind of have it nice and neat and tidy, and then jump into business app here. And then I'm going to jump into our automations and quickly build something out live, just to show us all how easy it is. So I'm going to create a new automation.
Yeah, she's a go.
And then I'll start with a blank template. And I'm going to select an opportunity is created or modified. And then I'm going to go to pipeline and stage, or a stage, I guess, would be the field that we're updating. And then this is going to be anytime a opportunity is moved into that closed won stage. And then we've got this piece, the get contact from opportunity piece that we'll need to kind of have in the middle there, just as this at the moment with that trigger, it's only able to do stuff at the opportunity level, but we would need to pull in that associated contact in order to do things at that contact level. So we've got that get contact from opportunity pulled in, and now we're going to grab the send a review request piece here. And now in here, this could be NPS, this could be a review request. It would all depend on the default templates that we have set up in Reputation Management Premium. So I'm just going to switch back over to that tab here. And if we go into our templates, then we can kind of customize which templates we want to have as our defaults. So these could be NPS templates, they could be review templates, that sort of thing. And it looks like for both email and SMS, we've got the review and NPS templates set up, which is good. So I'll quickly switch back to Business app here, just so we can kind of finish building out our automation. Now in this in the configuration for this send a review request automation step, there's a number of things that we can kind of customize here. We can customize the channel that we want to send the review request. So we could say, you know, email and SMS, just email, just SMS, and or kind of use kind of if this isn't available, then use this as a fallback kind of thing. But let's use both channels as our option there. And then we can also incorporate a bit of a delay. So say maybe we don't want to send it out immediately as soon as it's closed because maybe our customer's still sitting in our office, that kind of thing, and that maybe just isn't the experience we want to deliver. So if that's the case, then we can incorporate this delay by functionality here. So let's say you know, let's maybe delay by 1 day and have it send out from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on a weekday. Then we've also got this send again functionality here, which basically means that if they don't engage with that initial SMS and or email, in this case, as we've got this selected at the top here, then it's going to follow up with them. And we can say, you know, maybe let's follow up with them twice, once a day until they leave that NPS grade. And then there's also this additional piece here at the bottom to basically just to stop us from bombarding people with review requests. If they've already gotten one in the past 60 days, then we just won't send them a second one. So there we have it, kind of a pipeline-based review request automation workflow here. So when we turn this on, actually I'll just give this a name and turn it on quickly and then jump into the pipeline there. So I'll call it line review request. And just give that a moment to load here. And then in our pipeline under the opportunities tab in the CRM, within the CRM tab, Anytime that we move a opportunity associated with a contact to that closed won stage, we're then going to trigger that workflow. And after 1 day and on a business day, we're going to send out that default SMS and email NPS survey. So just actually maybe just jump into the reputation management products, just to give us an idea of what those look like if we're perhaps not familiar.
And just while sorry, folks, I was on the off stage trying to talk there. So I just threw another poll in. Thank you everybody for jumping on that first one there for who's leveraging NPS and who isn't. Looks like majority of our audience here today is not using NPS with your customers. So I just put a quick follow-up poll because I know our team would better love to understand why we're not using NPS as much. And so just giving us a better idea of where maybe that resistance is coming from. Is it from the customers? Is it just from, hey, this is new, I'm not sure the best way to position it? Or heck, I didn't even know you could tie all these automations in together. Now I see the value. We just want to make sure we've got a better understanding so we can continue to better help you guys going forward. Sorry, Alistair, all yours.
No worries. Very good call out there. Yeah, definitely. I know that our team would be interested to learn, what's holding you guys back, that sort of thing. So definitely, please feel free to provide some feedback in that survey there. So just going to quickly kind of go through the process of manually sending out that NPS survey, just so we have an idea of what it looks like. So I'm not actually going to send it, of course, but so here's kind of on the right-hand side, a bit of a preview of what that email is going to look like. And then say, let's, click on a 9, just to see kind of what happens next after we click that. And then it takes us to a screen that looks something like this. And then we can provide a bit of feedback here. And then that's going to go straight into the NPS tab in Reputation Management Premium. And then the score out of 10 is also going to be associated with the contact in the CRM as well. And that's going to be important in a moment because we can, kind of segment our customer base based on feedback they've given us directly, and then kind of take action accordingly, that sort of thing. And then there's also, along with just the, like the NPS and review request template, there's also the straight up NPS request, which in the email itself, it's basically just gives us that link to give feedback. And then, yeah, so this is, whoops, if my screen share will cooperate with me. There it is, okay. And then it's going to take us to a page kind of like this, where we leave our feedback from 0 through 10 right on this page. And if I click on a 9, then it's going to take me right here and then prompt me to leave my review on Google based on the feedback I just gave. But say, we're maybe not super happy with the service we received. So I'm going to hop back here and say leave a 2 instead. It's not going to take us to Google. It's going to take us to a screen that looks like this. And then we can say, leave our feedback, and it did kick back that error there, just as I didn't actually send anything because I was just clicking on the links in the preview, of course. But you kind of get the idea how we can, capture that important negative feedback privately, deliver it directly to our customers so that they can act upon it. But any positive feedback folks might have, we want to display that publicly online. However, this isn't review gating, as we do have the review on Google button right here. So if our unhappy customer is, ready to go to war against this SMB, then they could definitely, provide their private feedback here and then click on review on Google and share their thoughts with the world, which is, of course, complying with Google's policy, just as Google does want all of their review content to be authentic. They don't allow folks to do what's called review gating, which would basically be like the workflow that I just showed you all, but without this button at the bottom here. So we're kind of directing people that are happy to Google, directing people that are unhappy somewhere else. Google doesn't want that, and we, of course, like everyone else, we've got to play by Google's rules, because in the internet, Google is God, as they say.
Yeah, just while Alistair was doing that, like perfect highlight there on we're always going to do what Google is asking for us. It's their playground. We're going to play by their rules. So a quick scenario I want everybody to kind of envision, because I'm sure many of you have customers that are asking for how do I get some new reviews? How do I get more reviews? Because we know the local SEO benefit that that has. So picture this scenario. You've maybe got a new client who came on and they've got this old customer list, right? They've been in business for 20 years. They've got this large Rolodex with thousands of clients. As you can imagine, if we just sent a review request to everybody and their dog who had ever been a client of ours, we're kind of opening up the door there for some potentially negative reviews because, again, squeaky wheel is often the loudest and the most vocal. So without having any of that control or customer data to actually give us insights into who should we really be asking for a review and who should we be just trying to get a pulse on as a previous customer. So having this workflow not only helps guarantee that your clients are going to receive more positive reviews, but you're going to get a really good idea on maybe some of those previous clients, why they're not recurring clients today, and how you can bring them back into the fold. So next time any of you guys are chatting with your clients, use that exact scenario. Would you really want to ask these 10,000 people all for a review? Or should we try and find the people that we know are going to promote us instead? And that's where NPS in this workflow comes through. Sorry, Alistair.
No worries. Very good call out, Dakota. Lots of different ways that this functionality can be used, and that's one that I hear coming up a lot, actually, just as a lot of these folks, they've been in business for a while. Many of them are just kind of sitting on these massive customer databases that they're not really doing anything with. So that's one of the things that they could do with that information and potentially capitalize on it. So I'm going to kind of jump into sort of the next stage of our agenda today, which is how we can utilize that NPS data in a variety of different ways. So this is going to use something called the Smart List functionality in our CRM, which I'm personally a huge fan of, as it's incredibly flexible, very powerful, lots of different things that we can do with this. So I'm going to jump into the CRM tab and then into lists. And then I'm going to create a new list. I'm going to make it a smart list, give it a name. So I can say NPS promoters. And the way that smart lists work is basically to get the list going, we're going to set up a bunch of filters. So these are data fields within the CRM, could be any field at all. Then once we've got our filters set up, as new contacts are created that meet that criteria, or if contacts are updated so that they meet the criteria, they will then be added to the list. And the inverse is true as well. So say something changes in terms of the data we have on file for a contact, and they no longer meet our criteria for our smart list, they will then disappear from the list. So they will be kind of constantly growing and shrinking as time goes on, just depending on the way that we have it set up, that sort of thing. But there's lots of different things that we can do with this functionality. So I just set up our filters so that NPS is greater than 8, so that would mean a 9 or a 10. We can see on the right-hand side here, we've got kind of our 3 different contacts. There's me twice and my coworker, Loretta. And I guess I gave 10 out of 10 twice and she gave a 9. And then, of course, it's just different for me because there are 2 different emails there. And so I went ahead and created that list. And then I'm going to jump into this page here. And now we can see kind of our list of promoters as of right now this minute, but let's say we've got our big sheet with all of our customer data. Maybe it's 5,000 people. We're going to upload it, send out that NPS survey to those people. And then after that survey has gone out, people have responded, that sort of thing, then we can envision more customers being added to that list as they give their feedback in the survey. Now, that's all well and good, but what can we do with this? Let's find out. So I'm going to jump into automations here, and then I'm going to create a new one again. Start with a blank template. And then we've got a contact is added to a list automation trigger here. So I'm going to select our NPS promoters list that we just created. And then say maybe we want to introduce our promoters to, say, a referral program. Maybe kind of a whole like, hey, get 10% off if you send us a friend, that sort of thing. So then we're kind of encouraging those people that we know like our business to talk to their friends and family about it. And maybe give them some sort of incentive, both for themselves and for their friend or family member, that sort of thing. Just an idea, doesn't have to be that, but it could be all sorts of different things. So just going to quickly throw in our second step here. So that's start a campaign for the contact. And then I'm just going to use this dummy one as a placeholder, as we're not talking about campaigns today, but this could be pretty much whatever we want. It could be that coupon code, could be an affiliate program, could be a whole variety of different things. But yeah, now we can basically sort of leverage our customer feedback and kind of take action accordingly. So say, this would be a better play than, say, sending this out to everybody, because, our NPS detractors, people that are upset, don't like us for whatever reason. If we sent them like, hey, tell your friends and family about us, then that might actually have the inverse effect, as they might just tell their friends and family how they feel, which would probably be bad. So thinking that you guys maybe get creative with this a little bit. There's lots of different ways that we can segment our customer base using that smart list functionality. The limit is your imagination, honestly.
Yeah, and so to Alistair's point, I have a few examples actually of some brands that we're working with. So a lot of what they want to do is they want to take that customer engagement and that customer data and basically segment their customer into different lists. The idea behind that is, as you know, if you've got a business that has a wide range of offerings, not every customer is the same. What they care about is not going to be the same. Maybe I'm renting something versus somebody else who's buying something versus somebody else who's getting a service. The marketing that we want to send to those people is going to be different, whether it's based on the customer type or the way that they're engaging with our business. So what we're showing you is one small example of how, for your clients, you can actually start to dynamically segment their customer base and create these customized customer journeys that match the customer where they are today and what they're most interested in with your clients. So again, I'll go back to another example here, working with a pet group. Can you imagine, right? If I went and put my my two dogs in for boarding, if I started getting a bunch of emails around dog walking, right? Like that's not why I've used you as the business. Now this is noise, and maybe I'm not going to open the next email. But if you send me that email saying, "Hey, Dakota, thank you so much for coming at the stay. I left a good review, and now there's a promo in April. So, hey, if you were planning to take any vacations because you're a loyal customer, here we have an option." Now, I might actually decide I wasn't going to do it, but shoot, I got this promo sitting here. It's going to cost me if I don't. So, it's all about getting the right message to the right customer based on where they are in the journey. So, this reputation is like a small slice, but really what you're going to have the ability to do for your customers is build out these segments for them, bring in these specific marketing materials. And guys, when you start to have this localization and this personalization, that's where your marketing really starts to fuel your revenue. So just wanted to quickly jump in there with a few other examples of where else you can take this.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely appreciate that, Dakota. And hopefully we've maybe kind of gotten some of your creative juices flowing. So I did want to take a pause as I've been going, yammering on for about 30 minutes here at this point. I just wanted to open the chat up for some questions now, actually. Yeah, feel free to throw any questions, thoughts, comments, anything in the chat there, folks.
Yeah, or even any ideas. I know we used NPS here as that filtering criteria, but just know as our smart lists continue to develop, there's going to be other criteria there. Or even if you haven't heard of the smart list before and you just had some general questions, as I know everything that we're kind of showing today has been new developments, additional iterations on what was available previously. So if you've got some questions here, this is a perfect time to ask. All right, there we go. Now we got the questions rolling in. So let's start with Ed here. Is there a way to capture the scores from the snapshot report to use to automate?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like where your head's at, Ed. Yeah, there's lots of capabilities in that area. So I might actually pull my screen back up here and show us what we can do in that area. So give me one moment. Just get things fired up here.
And then just while you're doing that, Alistair, I'll see if I can't speak some answers here just to some of the other questions. So Stacy, for someone just getting started, what would you recommend I do to use the smart lists and NPS? First thing I would do, don't do it with a customer. Try it with your own business as you're kind of setting up these workflows and you're playing around. That's the first thing. Always want to make sure the clients are happy. The next piece for where I would start is if you're completely brand new, we've got a couple of really good walkthrough articles in the Support Academy. So that's where I would start, and then start to talk to your clients around, hey, would this be helpful? Find some specific use cases and then start to build those out with your customers. But I would start by taking a quick look at the support articles, getting some feedback from your clients to see what do they care about the most, and then being able to come back to them with some answers there. Sorry, Alistair.
No worries at all. So I'm in Partner Center here now, and I just went ahead and created a new smart list, but I set it to be at the company level because that's, of course, the what we're running snapshots on, not contacts. And then in here, along with kind of all of our basic company fields like our name, our website, our address, we also have our snapshot grades. Or so we could say, like our listings data or listings data updated date. Oh no, that's listings performance grade. That's the one that we want. So we could say listings performance grade is A, or B, folks that are doing well in the listings area, that sort of thing. Oh no, that's whoops. Got to switch this to is any of, and then A or B, because you can't simultaneously have both an A and a B, of course. It's got to be one or the other. But yeah, once we've got this set up, it's going to give us a list of accounts that have that listings grade being A or B. And then we can also do the inverse, like folks that are perhaps struggling in a certain area. We could say, let's send them a different sort of campaign, that kind of thing. And then just to kind of close the loop here, so we've got our snapshot grade segmentation smart list. And once it loads, it's going to give us a number of accounts that have either an A or a B in that listings grade area there. And then we can just at the business app level, at the partner level, we can also spin up a automation to perform various actions when that company is added to that list. So we could say company is Add it to a list. Snapshot grade segmentation. Start a campaign for that company. Then we could just pretend that this campaign here has some sort of content, maybe speaking to folks that have good listings but maybe need help in other areas, that sort of thing. And I would encourage that you folks maybe look at adding multiple attributes when we're looking at kind of segmenting our customer base based on listings grade. But that's kind of just a very quick run through of the functionality just to give us all an idea of what it's all about and to give us an idea of what it's capable of, because it's very, very powerful. And we see folks like, working with like some pretty large customer lists, and they're able to effectively automatically segment those customers based off of their, their digital presence. So pretty cool stuff. Right, so I'll take another quick pause here as I've seen the chat blowing up here. I'm sure there's some additional questions in there.
Yeah, I've been trying to jump and answer some of those just as you were working your magic on screen, but I think this question here from Michael is actually worth us all just quickly discussing here as a group. So the question, in case anybody didn't see it there, is just what is a good amount to charge for a done-for-you AI automation? And then the example Michael gives is a client who wants to be hands-off, right? So the first question I would have there, Michael, is, and this is the thing that we've always got to balance, right? As that agency owner, as that SMB savior, is what else are you doing with them, right? Like depending on the margins that you have on your products. So assuming that you've got them with a suite of products, hopefully you're marking that up, at least 100%, if not more, because I know that you guys are all spending more time than that with the customers. So the way that we typically suggest going to market when you're trying to bill for creating these automations, first thing is to look at your product stack. The next thing that I like to do, if you're familiar with the rule of thirds, that's kind of some of the logic that I apply here, is I would figure out how much time does it take you to set this up for one SMB. And what I would try and track there is the number of meetings that you had to have to initially get that information, test, reiterate before you were able to say, okay, we're good, we're live. I would try and do that with a couple of clients, just so you have your base data for how much time does it take, how much effort are you putting in, and ultimately, this gets us to the third point, what is your time worth? If somebody is to ask you for an hour-long consultation, what do you typically charge for that? So when I mention the rule of thirds, what this means for a lot of business owners is, if I think that my time is worth, well, let's be rich here together on the call. If I think I'm worth $100 an hour, what I would likely want to do for charging in this case would be $300 an hour. So 100 goes into my pocket, 100 goes into the business, and 100 goes back into whether it's your marketing or your advertising. So that's kind of the lens that I like to look at it through, is first quantify the amount of time that you're actually spending building those out. Once you have those numbers, looking at your margin profile across the products, and then coming up with an evaluation that you feel is fair, right? This is actually a really big lever that you guys can have when you're negotiating with your clients. Hey, I can do this here where you've got the tools, or if you want to take it to the next level, we can go here, because all that cost is just your time. So it's pure margin. So that's why it's really important to have that baked out. But Alistair, Logan, I'd be curious to hear how you guys like to approach this with your partners.
I can chime in a bit here. I think one thing to always consider as well is when you're look at how you're verticalizing or who you're targeting in the as an end customer. Let's say that you only work with legal firms. The very first time that you set up an automation for a legal firm might take you a lot more time, but with Vendasta's systems, you're able to create templates that you can re-leverage for those clients time and time again. So there's going to be added value for you to make money reselling that service to the next lawyer and the next lawyer and the next lawyer after that. So one thing just to consider when it comes to an upfront fee, I would perhaps consider if I know that I'm going to sell to 100 more clients just like this, I probably wouldn't be as concerned with the one-time setup fee because I know I'm going to make my residuals on the back end. So I'd keep the one-time fee a little lower and I would charge more on the monthly reoccurring basis. If it's a complete one-off, if all you've ever done is worked with legal firms and all of a sudden you're building an automation for a restaurant client, I would charge them a pretty hefty fee up front and just say, hey, this is outside of my standard wheelhouse. The nice thing about that is it allows you to start positioning as the expert in your local market and build it as a monthly recurring component as well. But I think what Dakota mentioned about really looking at how you value your time and then using the rule of thirds, I think is a perfect way to go about doing it. I also like to, I always forget the name of the law, but the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your revenue is going to come from 20% of your clients. Find those 20% of your clients, and you'll pretty quickly be able to figure out what your right price point is. Your best clients are going to be the ones that really understand the value of what you're providing, and they're going to be willing to pay. What you'll normally find is that 80% of your time is going to go to the people who only make you 20% of your revenue. There's a fantastic book called The Pumpkin Plan, if anyone here hasn't read it in the past. And it just talks through how if you want to grow the largest pumpkin in the field, you can't be watering 100 pumpkins. You got to really focus on that one pumpkin that's going to give you the best chance at the biggest one. Exact same idea with your clients. Nurture and be willing to spend a little bit more time with those clients who are paying you well, not only because they're paying you more, but because you're going to be able to get more like-minded clients and more referrals into similar types of customers. I see so many partners who just drown in spending all this time trying to super serve a tiny customer who's not willing to pay for their time or their or their services. And I know, especially when you're starting out, you kind of have to do a little bit of that. You have to work with whoever's going to pay you and wherever you can get some cash flow. But I would encourage on a quarterly or a semi-annual or even annual basis just to revisit that book of business of your clients. And it never hurts to reach out to them and just ask, hey, we've been working together for a year. What would you pay for my services? Like, I'm not changing your pricing here today, but if you were to just come to me out of the box, what would you be willing to pay for what I'm doing for you? And they'll usually give you a pretty good barometer of what you can actually charge in the local market as well.
Well, and Alistair, before you jump in, because I'm sure you've got some good nuggets, but it kind of made me go back to something when we talk about advertising as well, is when you're dealing with your clients, what is a new client worth to them? What is that average sale price, right? Because if you set up this automation, and again, let's use some extreme examples here. If you're working with somebody who sells a ton of high-end boats, okay, so if you set up this automation and you bring them one customer a month, but that customer is worth $100,000, you can imagine how that automation is a lot more valuable. So one of the other things I would try and suss out as you're building out your pricing is, what is a client worth to them? What is that sale? How often do they convert when you're bringing them this lead? And from there, you can do some pretty quick math where if you know that after testing this automation, typically, it brings in 4 or 5 extra clients a month. Well, if that client's worth $1,000 every time, congratulations, you just added $60,000 annually to this business's bottom line through your automation. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, you can charge 60 grand for that. But when you bring it back into perspective, if I'm going to make you $60,000 this year, is it really crazy for me to spend $500 a month with you? Tell you this, if somebody offered me those returns, they can have my life savings. They can have my retirement fund. I'll move everything over with those kind of returns. So that's the other way to also think about it, is what's it worth to that customer? Sorry, Alistair.
No worries at all. Yeah, definitely a lot of points I was looking to hit on as well. Always make sure to kind of remind folks of the value that you're delivering them. Because it's not just about like, hey, how many leads did we get? How many hits did we get on the website? It's how many customers did we win this month? That sort of thing. And additionally, just in terms of like, getting that face time and feedback with our customers, one thing that we see a lot of partners doing these days is setting up kind of like a standing business review cadence, whether that's a quarterly business review or a monthly business review. But they kind of have that dedicated time once a month, once a quarter, whatever it is, to review the numbers, review all of the work that you've done for them, that sort of thing. And that really helps with both the, that retention piece to And also, it can potentially open upsell opportunities as well, and also help you kind of uncover any gaps in the current process, the current offering, that sort of thing. So say maybe there is an automation that you could build that would really help out this customer, maybe save them 5 hours a week or more, that kind of thing. Those are the sorts of things that will very often come up in those regular business review meetings, just by kind of going over everything from start to finish, end to end. Just kind of make sure that they're on the same page, and that it also gives them being the customer an opportunity just to give you some feedback and have a conversation about maybe some things that aren't working super well or could be better, that sort of thing. But
And that just a quick note on that as well, and I'll throw this up on the chat here as well. If anybody wants to join, we're hosting a webinar on April 9th. So coming up next week, that's going to be focused on how you can position and sell and build more AI business for your brand. One of the things that I'm going to be covering in that webinar is Vendasta's AI Impact Calculator. And when Alistair and Dakota both mentioned there, take a look at what the customer can look to see value out of when you're actually pricing your service. A fun experiment to play with customers is use the AI Impact Calculator. In Dakota's example, okay, so if we can get you one more luxury boat per month, that's worth $100,000 to you. Well, I'm going to charge you $5,000 a month. And if they look at that and say, well, no, that's far too expensive, I'd never pay $5,000 a month, say that's perfectly fine. Why don't we do a percentage of your sales then? Let's do a percentage of revenue. And all of a sudden they'll go, well, but what if you bring me in $1 million? And you say, well, that's exactly the point, is, you see that there's the potential here that I can make you a fortune from these automated efforts. I'm asking to be paid what my time and what my technology is worth. And so that's a great way to almost reverse the customer and put the ball into their court. So, hey, if I can close you one extra lead a month, what's that worth to your business? And what percentage of that would you be willing to pay back? The other thing that I always try to encourage partners to remember is marketing is a write-off. So when people look at, hey, I can bring in that extra luxury, car every month, and yeah, it's $5,000, or a luxury boat, sorry, and it's $5,000 a month, they do still get to write that off against their income as well, right? So it's not like it directly goes against the revenue that they're bringing in. They are able to recoup that in the form of a tax benefit as well. So something to always keep in mind when you're pitching to those customers as well.
Yeah, and just while Logan's plugging that one on April 9th, so I've got that up on the screen here, and oh, look, we're getting good with SQL. We've even got a little pop-up I'm seeing on my side, so learning on the fly here. As always, just when we're going to end these sessions, we want to let you guys know what else is kind of coming out, happening at Vendasta. So Logan mentioned that we've got that one on April 9th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. You've got that quick sign-up link. There is another one that we have happening, though, tomorrow, April 3rd. So if anybody is a Grant Cardone fan, we're going to have the president of their enterprises with our own Spencer Krieger on the call, going through some game-changing strategies to help your business grow. So I know you're going to see a lot of Vendasta staff on that one, because we all want to take some nuggets from Spenny and Jared. So you've got that one tomorrow. You've got Logan and the team on April 9th. And then this one, guys, if you haven't already bookmarked this, please go ahead and do it now. Prompt engineering is the way of the future when we talk about dealing with AI. It's not going to be the person who can code it, it's the one who knows how to use it and get the most out of it. And that's exactly what this session is. So if you're not familiar with how to get the most out of AI, you feel that you're having to ask ChatGPT the same thing, and then you've got to iterate a whole bunch, this is going to be a great session for you. So make sure that you've got that one bookmarked, and that's April 16th. And of course, you're going to see us next Wednesday at the same time, same place. We'll have an email coming out with what next week's plan is going to be. And again, our goal is before the end of the week, have all of the previous sessions uploaded onto YouTube. So if anybody wants to play this back, double check anything, you're going to have that all on YouTube. And marketing would kill me if I didn't do the typical YouTube influencer plug. When you're going to our channel, please make sure you're liking and subscribing so more people can find us there, and so we get to keep our jobs and get to keep doing this. No, I'm kidding. That's not one of our KPIs, but it does help. So we'll take all of that if we can get that. And with that, guys, we'll go ahead and leave it there. We'll see you next Wednesday. We always appreciate your time everyone jumping in with questions here. You'll get to see some reminders. We'll let everybody know once everything's live on YouTube. And we'll see you next Wednesday, guys. Talk soon. Take care. Stay
See ya.
warm.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.